Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Thursday, the 18th of July, 2019. Hey, gang, I've got a ton of stuff I want to cover with you tonight. And believe it or not, it's a tiny fraction of all the stuff that I found that I probably should be commenting on. But I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can. Let's start here with Epstein. The headline here is it's going to be staggering. Epstein associates prepare for the worst as massive document dump is imminent. This shouldn't surprise us. However, let's make sure they do it right, because actually, this story suggests a whole bunch more here. Like, for instance, I'm going to read a little bit of it to you. George W. Bush, White House, directed Acosta not to prosecute Epstein to protect Prince Andrew on behalf of the British government. The royal family did everything they could to try and discredit the Prince Andrew stuff. Well, he's just one of many. I mean, this guy is well connected. In fact, this article even says there's a possibility that he's tied into secret service or not secret agencies like the Mossad or the CIA, and that actually makes sense in a weird way because he's getting dirt on everybody, and he has all the dirt. Now, a couple of mysteries here. Number one, why is this man still alive? Because he can topple governments. We're talking the United States government, the Israeli government, the British government, probably Australia, Canada. I mean, many governments. Um, just with how many people that he has actually helped procure an underage kid for pedophilia. Now, this is pretty serious stuff, gang. Now, let's see if it's done right. You see, we don't trust our government. I don't trust my government. So I'm not sure. And once again, look at this. George W. Bush directed Acosta not to prosecute Epstein to protect Prince Andrew on behalf of the British government. So Prince Andrew can go and molest 13-year-old girls and be protected by George W. Bush. You see, this is the problem we're running into. It's the thin blue line. They're protecting one another. And this is really sick. They have these pictures of these girls here on this article. I wish I could block that out. Okay, but at any rate, I wanted to touch on this. Like always, guys, like always, this will be down below in the description section so you can read the articles. Okay, here's the next one. And this is one that I can't stress strongly enough. Absolute power molests absolutely. Basically, what this story is about here is we shouldn't be surprised to find out that, for instance, Bill Clinton likes underage girls, that Hillary Clinton likes underage girls. And I could go on and on and on, but at any rate, this is the kind of stuff that I think will be coming out if it is allowed to come out, that is, because of the Epstein case. These are the kinds of people we're talking about here. But once again, it's not just the Clintons, the Rothschilds, the royal family, many people in Hollywood, but the people who have the power to protect are the judges and the politicians. Those are the ones we have to go after. That's the head of the snake. Once they're taken out, and they all need to be taken out, every one of them, then basically we can start to heal. And we can go back to doing what we should do in society, which is protect our children from these frickin' monsters. Instead of turning a blind eye, pretending this doesn't exist, this is a conspiracy theory. It is not. Let me assure you this. And it's not just in Hollywood either. This is big time. I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm a little more comfortable talking about it now because YouTube, probably will shut down my channel at some point. But let the truth be known. Our politicians are definitely pedophiles, and not all of them, but enough of them that we need to clean house. Same thing with our judges. So we need to take care of that instance too. And we're not just talking federal judges, we're talking all the way down to county and city level judges, because this stuff is dealt with on every level. Okay, next story. Beijing lets one slip. Okay, now we're going into finance, by the way. Obscure data suggests China housing bubble has burst. And it's one of the same metrics we use here in the United States. It's furniture sales. Furniture sales are falling off a cliff over in China. So basically, we know that the housing market has slowed down there, but this is the first indicator that the bubble is actually burst. So we'll see. We'll pay attention. A lot of other things going on. Let me go to the next story. Stocks and bonds jump, dollar jumps after Fed Williams ZERP comments. Zero interest rate policy. That's what that stands for. And I've been talking about this a long time. I know we're going negative. I don't think we're going to go negative until probably the end of 2020, but we will be lowering interest rates. And that is coming, gang. I'm telling you, it's coming. They've got to do it. And they really don't have any choice. They've got to do it. They don't want to make it look like they're doing it because Trump said to do it, though. So, at any rate, this will be linked down below as well if you guys want to get more data on that. Next story. In a major threat to dollar's reserve status, Russia offers to join European SWIFT bypass. Now, this is interesting. I've talked about, and let me go ahead and enlarge this a little bit. We'll zoom in. This is about, the Instex system. Now, I did a story about this about a week ago. And at the time, I wasn't sure what was backing up Instex. I do know now that it's Germany. So it's most likely the euro or or a basket of currencies that are acceptable to Germany. So this, guys, this is literally a nail in the dollar coffin. This is important to understand here. And for those of you who don't understand, let me briefly go through it. SWIFT is a system that's used electronically between big banks to finalize trade or, just the kind of stuff that they do between countries, basically to finalize financial transactions. SWIFT carries the dollar only. That's the important part to understand, and it is worldwide. We have the world reserve currency in the United States, the dollar, so therefore SWIFT transports the dollar only, and it's digital, of course. Instex is a competing system that is carrying, I believe, the euro and possibly some other currencies as well. And I did a story about this because Europe was getting on board with this. And now it looks like Russia is getting on board. Now, Russia and China getting on Instex, I mean, we're talking about literally half of the world is about ready to get off the dollar. Now, if that's not a big story, I don't know what is, but that is literally how we derive power from our dollar, is that everyone wants it for trade. Now, if no one wants it for trade anymore, what use is our dollar? None. We lose global reserve currency status. We lose cheap oil here in the United States of America. We lose a lot of things when the dollar is no longer used to finalize trade or for trading in general between nations. So this is an interesting thing going on right now. Now, we should be seeing the dollar dropping rather rapidly when stuff like this happens, but we're not seeing it at this time. Maybe it'll come later, but once again, the markets are not free markets anymore. At any rate, that's that one. Here, next story. Crypto suddenly panic bid, Bitcoin back above 10K. So at any rate, panic bid, I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but it is a bull market we seem to be in for cryptos. But there was a very sudden, sharp move upwards today. I don't know what to tell you about that, but basically this article here is going to go ahead and tell you what they think is the reason why cryptos are going up. Well, I can tell you what I think here in a little bit, but we'll cover the rest of the stories here because the same thing applies to gold and silver. Okay, let's see. Abrupt, alarming leverage loan collapse highlights fragile nature of credit markets. This is an interesting story about one company, and it has a lot of debt and, a relatively large amount of debt, $693 million. So they do have bonds that people can invest in. And that bond just tanked. And it was very sudden. It was unexpected. And even the smart, sophisticated investors that deal in leverage loans didn't see it coming, and they were very surprised. Well, it shouldn't be surprising when you leave good companies good solid companies that are making money, and their corporate debt bonds are actually being sold off so people can go into junk bonds. They're seeking yield. That's all that is. And that's how dangerous the market has become. We leave behind the good investments to go after the highly speculative ones so we can try and make more money. And that's what that story is about. However, it is a very, very interesting story because this doesn't really happen very often. Bonds like these are the things that go into, I'd say pension funds, annuities, that sort of thing. It's a very safe bond. It doesn't pay out, exorbitant amounts of money, but it is safe and it always pays out. So trading this in for something that is a junk bond does not make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people, but it does make sense to me. Okay, next story. Gender terms like manhole, policeman, chairman to be banned in Berkeley, California. Well, of course they should be, because those are highly, highly, inflammatory words. Manhole? Holy crap. It's going to be called people hole now. Policemen? No, it'll be police people. Chairman? Chairperson. Or chairpersons. Because, it's just referring to someone, as a man. I mean, that right there is highly inflammatory. You're going to offend somebody. But in the middle of all this stuff I just covered up here, Epstein, politicians molesting kids, Beijing, basically the housing market slipping, bonds, stocks, and dollars go up after ZERP comments, major threat to dollar reserve status because of Instex, half the world's getting off the dollar. Cryptos did a sudden jump up, abrupt, alarming moves from safe bonds into, junk bonds. This is actually what we need to be worried about, guys, right here. This is the kind of stuff we need to be talking about, right? No, it just shows incredible lengths people will go to bother themselves. That's what this is. If people are offended by words, you know, I'm older. I'm 47. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, apparently there's a new generation of people where names can actually kill you, apparently. So it's highly insensitive to use words that will kill people, apparently. Um, but at any rate, I digress. I need to move on. Drudge Report, tons of stories here. I would love to cover some of these, but I haven't had time to look into all of them. U.S. warship destroys Iranian drone, heightened tensions. Um, let's see, Zarif, no information about losing drone today. 500 troops deploy in Saudi Arabia airbase. Need to look into that and see what that's about. Revolutionary Guard seizes foreign oil tanker and the crew. More stuff between Trump and the four women of the apocalypse or whatever. Who cares? It's all an act. Well, just tons and tons of stuff. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even know where to start. But a lot of stuff going on in the news, and this is what happens when the economy starts going a little bit nuts. They need diversions. Let's go to the stock market. And this is late on Thursday nights, but that's just what it is. Basically the Dow green, Nasdaq green, S&P green. Lots of green stuff going on here. The 10-year yield backed off just a little bit, but the oil went up today. Here's the important one and the really interesting one. Gold and silver keep going up, gang. They just keep going up. They're reaching for the sky. Why are crypto and precious metals going up at the same time when there's no real news to support this? Could it be Deutsche? I don't know. I got something I want to tell you guys. My wife, I talk about her once in a while. She happens to work in retail, and she works in a nationwide retail chain. She works at a specific store local to our area. It's kind of an apparel store. And about a month and a half ago, they started cutting hours dramatically for workers there. And about 2 weeks ago, the freight dropped off a cliff. I mean, there's almost no freight going to the store anymore, but it is the top store in the district. It is the very top store for all of these stores, in the entire district, which covers Kansas City, St. Louis, and Chicago even. And they're not getting any freight, and they're cutting hours. And also, there's one more thing my wife told me today, is that foot traffic is dropping off. Now, the reason why I find this really interesting is because they didn't have these problems in 2008 when we had that giant crisis. Not like this. So what does this retailer know that we don't know? Well, businesses are insiders, especially at the top echelons of business. They're insiders. So they know what's going on. They're tied in. They're connected. So I'm going to ask anyone who's watching this, whether you're a sub or not, if you could comment down below and let me know if you've noticed anything strange in retail in your area. And if you would, I'm talking about the Springfield area, Springfield, Missouri area for my wife. So if you wouldn't mind chiming in, give me your general location if you have a retail story, whether it's good or bad. I mean, I don't, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just curious because this particular retailer, does very, very well even in bad times. It's kind of an apparel store. I don't want to say what it is, but more or less they sell clothing. But they do sell some other things as well, but it's mainly clothing. So, at any rate, that's pretty much it. I mean, there are many, many other things that I probably am remiss on not covering tonight. But I do think this is, how do I say it, gang? I'm going to ask you a question. Is Epstein a diversionary story, diverting us from what's going on in the economy? Or is the economy the diversionary story to take us away from Epstein? You know, it's not a what came first, chicken or the egg thing, but it's a very serious question. This guy knows things that would blow your mind. This guy knows things about politicians all over the world, big business people all over the world, and he has the goods on them because he's procured small children for them to have sex with. And he probably has pictures and video and other documentation proving it as well. This man can topple the world single-handedly. And he's not dead yet. He's not dead yet. I want you guys to think about that because he should be dead. And he's not dead. So I ask you that question. Why is he not dead? Why hasn't the Mossad or the CIA made sure he's dead? I don't have an answer. I'm not asking a rhetorical question. I'm asking you guys if you have any idea why this man is still alive. Because, like I said, he can topple everything. Everything as we know it will fall apart because of the shenanigans of our politicians, judges, big, corporate business leaders, captains of industry. I mean, I've been through this list and everything, but he's got the goods on them. And is he turning evidence on them? Is he going to be allowed to survive long enough to turn evidence? I mean, how does this work? And once again, I'm not asking a rhetorical question. I do not know the answer. So those of you who have looked into this maybe a little further than I have or have a little bit more time, if you could throw something in the comments section, I'd really appreciate it. Also, I know there's a lot going on right now on the news, and I'm doing the best I can with the limited time that I have. But if you guys find a story that you think I need to cover, please do throw it in the comment section. I read all the comments, guy. I really, truly do. But yeah, it's getting a little bit crazy out there. And once again, silver and gold are doing awesome. They're doing really, really well. And silver by itself has already gone up $1.20 just this week alone, and it's in 4 days. And we haven't seen silver make these kinds of moves since Brexit. What's going on? What's pushing it? I bet you it's Deutsche. I think there's something bigger going on here, and Deutsche is actually a failed bank, and they're piecing it out right now. That's what I think is happening, and there are insiders who know this, but the rest of us who don't know shouldn't be watching this gold and silver price. By the way, they're still on sale. Silver is still on sale too. I know it's not $14.50 anymore, but it's still a good deal. The premiums, haven't come down as I expected they would as silver goes up. And I apologize, that was conjecture on my part. I was pretty sure they would come down, but they're not coming down as much as I thought they would. It's still a bargain for silver. I promise you, and once again, I'm not saying back up the truck either. I am not a financial consultant, but gold is still a good deal too. Personally, if you say to me, hey, TC, if you had $100 right now, what would you get? My answer would be either silver or Bitcoin. And I'd have to think real hard about it because both of them are going to be going up in my opinion. So, but I do like silver, and silver kind of is on my mind right now. I have my crypto. It's already done. It's sitting there. It's just, going up and down like everyone else's. But the silver is a little more physical, a little more tangible. and I like silver. So haven't purchased any gold in 4 months, something like that. 3, 4 months. It's the last time I purchased. Um, okay, if you guys have any questions or anything, of course, for anything that I had said, today or on this podcast, please let me know. But please comment if you have stories from retail in your area. It doesn't even matter if it's a different country. I would love to hear. And once again, thank you for joining Truth, Money, and Freedom. We know that your time is valuable too. So the fact that you're stopping in and watching our channel honors us. Thank you very much. And thank you for the shares and the likes and the comments. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. May God bless you all.